Okay, so let's begin the talk. So first of all, thank you for coming. My name is Flávio Sousa, and I'm here to talk about the project in which I was involved for a bit, and also to argue for an idea and leave you with an idea that's, in my opinion, is larger than the project. So, first of all, has anyone heard about the project? Is anyone familiar with this project? Okay, so I think I'll begin. So this talk isn't mainly about how we got some driving schools very mad at us, or how we got a few of them very happy with us. This is a talk about how a culture of open data in government institutions fosters important changes to society, the role of government and institutions in creating meaningful data, and why data needs to be public. To illustrate this point, I'm going to bring you this project. So this is about Melhor da Zona, which roughly translates to the best in the area. And it's a web application that lets you search the best driving schools in your area. So at some point in 2014, I was going through a pretty rough driving school experience, and I realized that more students were complaining about the instructors. They were changing instructors. The classes weren't that good. A lot of shouting. And people were failing on their first exams, and I realized that, okay, either this is something particular to our experience, or this school is pretty bad, and there must be a way to figure that out. And you could assess that by the pass rates of that driving school. That information should be public, but it wasn't. I couldn't find any information on it. So there was a problem, which was there was no objective information to assess if a driving school was good or not. People were making their decisions based on subjective information, like, oh, my cousin went to this driving school and said it was really, really good. Or my dad knows the driving school owner and he says this school is the best one. And it's quite a big investment. So ideally, you have objective information like pass rates. So this was the problem. However, if you Google driving schools, you'd see these aggressive ads saying low cost and very cheap and blah, blah, blah. So everything was about emphasizing cheap offers. And price, the problem was that price was the only available metric, the price of the license. And that meant people were running after the price, not after the quality. And this creates an unfortunate situation, which is this puts a lot of pressure in driving schools because their quality is never recognized. And they need to compete for low prices, and this creates a race to the bottom. Huge compromise on quality. So schools lose all incentives to provide a better service because the teaching quality, this is meaning the pass rates are never publicly known. And on the other hand, if this information was published, then students will be able to compare price versus quality and make a better informed decision. And eventually I found a report on pass rates versus gender and location and age, and I figured, okay, there must be information about this somewhere. I want to get a hold on this information. So I emailed the author. She worked for the Institute for Mobility and Transports, and she informed me, oh, actually, there's a law that says that we need to publish the data, and the data is going to be published in the beginning of 2015. And precisely in the beginning of 2015, the Institute for Transport and Mobility, IMT, published the pass rates for driving schools, for 1,000 something driving schools, with a breakdown for theoretical, driving exam, and B category, which is car and other categories. But the data was mainly, the data was basically a set of PDF documents with all 1,000 schools. Basically a huge listing with this information. And okay, our idea was a very simple one. Oh, wouldn't really be nice to have a way of querying this data by geolocation? So we aggregated the scatter data for pass rates and addresses, and we assigned a geocode to them. And the very first draft of the app was a call to action. Insert geolocation results. Here's a sorted list by pass rates. And you can see an example of our app in this slide. So I assume there's no one from, I'm going to talk about the reception, and I assume there's no one from driving schools in the audience. Otherwise, this could have been a pretty different talk. And basically what happened, a lot of threatening, we received a lot of threatening emails, blog posts, just picking on every little thing that we had, and also picking up on things that weren't our responsibility, like, oh, the origin of the data, and you're not accounting for bribes because some students pay for the exams, and actually we're only using the data from the government. So this is the point. And also, on the other hand, we received also less but good comments from students and also from some schools that were very, very happy by having this problem solved, which is recognizing the quality of the instruction. And okay, and this negative feedback is actually understandable, because if you look at the data, this is on the left side, you can see a ordered list by number of exams, which is the popularity of the school, basically. And this is data for schools in Lisbon. So if you grab all the schools in Lisbon and you sort it and you take the first 10, this is what you get. And if you get the same list and you sort it by pass rates, you see a completely different landscape. 9 out of 10 don't even appear on the top 10 schools. And respectively, the first 3 appear way on the bottom. And also another interesting thing that you see is that small schools have higher rates. Very small schools like this one have 100% pass rates, which, okay. But overall, smaller schools have better quality. But what this means is that these schools no longer, if people were making the decision based on quality, then these schools will get more interest, more demand, and they could charge higher prices and try to scale while maintaining the quality of the service, because they are obviously doing something very right. Okay, so considering this reception, it can be said that this is actually a case for UX, because the only thing that we did was change how data is queried. The data was already available for several months by the time we published the app, but only when we published like a nice UI where people could actually interact with it, only then the data became a problem. Driving schools apparently never heard of the data. They didn't care about it. As soon as we launched, it's a big threat. Everyone is very concerned. So this kind of represents what we did. We had this huge list, and we made this. And at the end, having an intuitive way to query for driving schools made all the difference. And on the limit and this happened clearly in our case, is that not having a way of querying the data, not having an intuitive way to search the data, was equal to the data not being there at all. Okay, so some stats about our app. We have 1,139 schools in our database. A few of them have data because the IMT database is a bit outdated. So some schools have closed since. Also, the number of exams that are done per year in examination centers is huge. I had no idea about these numbers, and it's actually impressive the amount of people that study, that take the driving course, the driving license per year. So, okay, now 3 things. So we've seen that when government institutions go through the effort of releasing data that they own and it's of public interest, shifts happen. And it's our belief that a culture of data sharing in government institutions fosters important changes to society. And governments can neglect their roles. Because of the government being the government, they own a lot of interest that's on a lot of data that's on the interest of everyone. And there's also some things that this data has a lot of features. For instance, you can figure out which is the best latte in your street by user reviews, or which is the best restaurant around you. But you only go you only take the driving license once. You only go to the university once, maybe. So it's what for you is a good driving school, for me might be a terrible one. And actually, if you look at Facebook and you see user ratings, even the schools that have like 40% of pass rates, which is just terrible, have 5 stars. It's very common. So it's actually there's an issue with criteria that people use to judge. They're impartial. There's no way they can judge in an impartial way. Also, so government has data. Government produces a lot of data, but they need to publish the data. Data is public. On one hand, it's already paid for. On one hand, it's already paid for by taxpayer money. And on the other, they can actually contribute to a better society, more efficient society, because people will, like this project, people will pick it on and develop stuff on top of it. So it would be really awesome for the government to release this data. Oh, by the way, the data, as far as I know, wasn't released with a license. Not even, oh, it's yours, you can do whatever you want. We said, okay, it's government data, it's our data. We can do with it whatever we want. But it would be really nice to have this culture where institutions, oh, here's data, here's a license, go ahead, use it, and do stuff with it. Okay. So this is the website you can visit. It's live, and all these people were involved in a project in some way or another. Ana Dias, Bruno Barreto, Bruno Viegas, yours truly, Felipe Dias, Joaquim Simas. And okay, so this is not anything. There's actually a movement behind it. You can, if you're interested in the subject of open data, you can visit these links. Journalism Plus Plus is a project that produces journalistic content from data. Open Knowledge Network is another one, and in Portugal we have this project that I've heard of recently. And if you go to this GitHub account, you'll see a huge number of repos with data from like connections between people in the government and private entities, or domestic violence cases, and all of that. So there's already a lot of data that you can use to do all sorts of things. Also, if you're interested, you can speak later with me. We're going to publish the data with a nice API, but well, it's kind of public now, but it's not documented. So if you're interested on it, you can come and speak with us. And oh, okay. So also, if you like this type of subjects, I'm going to invite you to take part of a little bit of digital hacktivism. So the Institute for Transport and Mobility doesn't have a Twitter account, but the Ministry for Planning and Infrastructure has. And a problem that we have is that the data is we have access only to data from 2015. From 2014, that was published in 2015. The 2015 data wasn't released yet, and we've had a lot of complaints from driving schools saying, oh, it would be really awesome if you guys could, but we don't have that data. The government does, however. So I'm going to live tweet, and you can follow that if you want, and retweet. And I'm going to do this part in Portuguese because it's relevant. So I'm going to speak a little bit of Portuguese. If you could add some subtitles. Continuamos à espera das taxas de aprovação English keyboard. No, it has to be a live tweet. Sorry. It's added effect. I still have a lot of time, so. De condução de 2015. So, planeamento. PT. And obviously, Pixels Camp. Hashtag open data for the win.
And also the pixel camp.
Thank you.
And the pixel camp. Hashtag pixel camp.
More hashtags. Hashtags for the win. Okay, algum typo? Okay, it's done. Okay, now I'm going to retweet it with my personal account. Okay, I really hope something comes from this. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. If you want to continue following the project, we have, of course, our melhordazona.com website, our Facebook account, blog. You can find a transcript in Portuguese on the blog. And obviously our Twitter account. And my name is Flávio Sousa. Thank you for coming. And questions, QA. Any questions? That's it. Awesome. That's it. Obrigado por virem. Eu estou com fome.